G Intelligence, that is his name. Oh, hello guys, welcome, or if you've already seen my channel before, welcome back. I'm the Philadelphia Whovian, and let's get right on in with the next list we have for the classic villain marathon list. I believe we're now on video number 4, and this is about all of the classic villains that have also progressed and made their way into New Who as well. And the requirements for making a list of these villains is they have to have at least 5 stories to their name. So without further ado, let's really get into this list because we've done the Cybermen, we've done the Daleks, we've done the Master. Now let's go back to that sometimes forgotten but beautiful gem, the Great Intelligence, or in some ways, the Intelligence. I just realized that's my cat back there. Her name is Shadow. She has a very marvelous personality. And no, boys, she does not like long walks on the beach. So please, let's get past that. Okay, but yes, admire her. So now let's get down to it. And now we're coming at number 5, because I believe there are only like 5 stories of the Great Intelligence. I think the Great Intelligence just meets that requirement for this list. Coming in at number 5, we have the Bells of St. John. Now, I know a lot of people do not like this story, the Bells of St. John. Guys, you have to understand something about me. I'm very easy to please. That's why when I don't like something, I really don't like it. That's why when I despise something, I despise it with a passion that consumes my little soul. The fact is, I have so much fun watching the Bells of St. John. My God, I do, okay? I can't act like I don't. I just simply do. That's all it is. I think the Doctor is very charming. And after he saves Clara the first time when, basically, sorry, forgive me. When she starts getting taken over, when that happens, and he does save her, and he's waiting outside of her house, the Maitland house, and he's like, I promise I won't budge here the entire night. And she says, well, I guess I'll come down to you. I'm sorry, I like their chemistry together. I know a lot of people do not like the 11th Doctor with Clara and think they're just absolutely awful together. Guys, I respect your opinions, and I see where you're coming from. And those of you who think Clara is infinitely better with 12, I like her sometimes with the 12th Doctor a great deal. Yes, I do. But that doesn't mean that I'm not allowed to like her with the 11th Doctor. It seems to be like people are like, oh, you should either like her with the 12th Doctor and that's it, and not with the 11. I'm not like that. No, I'm not. Sorry. I'm human. I have my feelings. I cannot deny these feelings. And the fact is, I liked her with the 11th Doctor as well as with the 12th Doctor. They just did 2 different things as a Doctor and companion when it comes to the dynamic and the relationship. And with the Doctor just being in a monastery, I'm sorry, I love that. Where you have literally just the Doctor sitting there in a monk's costume, and he takes his hood off, and you're like, oh, it's the Doctor. I just love how mad the Doctor is with that. And then Clark gets a phone call, and we don't know where the phone call comes. We find out later on it was probably from Missy. Probably definitely from Missy. Definitely from Missy, but still. And then, you know, it turns out the Great Intelligence was orchestrating the entire thing. And I've said it before, guys, I'll say it again. People say it's just a rehashing of the things that happened in the Idiot's Lantern. I'm going to make it very clear for you guys. The Idiot's Lantern is not original. The Idiot's Lantern, the idea of something sucking you into technology, or taking your face, and putting it up into a television screen, or anything computerized, is not original by any means. Russell T Davies was not unique in doing it. He was clever to have brought it back and used it for the Idiot's Lantern. Whether you like Idiot's Lantern, not, that's a whole different thing. I totally get why people hate it or like it, whatever. I'm just saying, if you're like, oh, well, that's just a rehashing of the Idiot's Lantern, remember, the Idiot's Lantern is not original either, so I can't get mad at Moffat for using an idea that Russell once used, that was used plenty of times before, just in other different aspects of sci-fi, fantasy, or whatever, etc., and so forth. that's just how I roll, yo. That's just how I roll. And with the Doctor just just like flying his motorcycle up the shard. I'm sorry, I enjoy stuff like that. Have you ever had the word anti-grav? Pew, 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 pew. I'm sorry, that's just fun for me. What can you do? Okay, and then like, the idea of the airplane, they're in the airplane now, and then they're back to being on the ground, now they're at a cafe. It's just using so many different things in one episode. I'm fine with it. I understand why you guys don't like it. I'm just saying I do. The next one we have for number 4 is the second Doctor story, and I believe it's the first story that had the intelligence. I'm sorry if I'm wrong. I admit I have not seen all first Doctor stories. But is the Abominable Snowman. Okay, the Abominable Snowman possibly could be higher if it was not mostly, and when I say mostly, I mean 95% missing. The fact is, it was one of the last stories I saw when I was watching all the second Doctor stories, and so much of his era is missing. So much is completely missing because it was copied over from the BBC that the Abominable Snowman got the chopping block practically, and you only have maybe every now and again 3 seconds or 5 seconds of actual footage. I was so exhausted. I admit, guys, I was so exhausted watching so many stills of episodes back and forth when doing the second Doctor's seasons that it's just that Abominable Snowman, I didn't have it in me anymore to, be that interested because of all the stopping and going. Then to mix that in with the fact that my computer, because I was watching this online, my computer just eventually somehow, don't know what happened, but what I was watching on, that also paused. So I would have to go back and try and pick up again over and over again. I got frustrated. So I remember enjoying the parts I did see, but I can't really even give you a full-on, oh, this is what the whole story was like, because there was just too much piecemeal or me just being unable to even finish it because of technical difficulties. I admit that. You're thinking, why do a video when you couldn't see all the episode in one continual flow? You had to see it in chops, in sections. Because I had no choice but to see it in sections. Guys, it's completely missing, practically. But the part I did remember and the parts I can piece together are very good. It just will never be my favorite because it's missing. Now we have at number 3, from Series 7, Part 2, The Snowman, the Christmas special. By God, I know a lot of people who absolutely hate this story. Please don't kill me. Remember, beauty is in the eye of the beholder. Please understand that, because the fact is, The Snowman is one of my favorite Christmas specials of New Who. Don't kill me. Don't do it. Shadow will get you if you do. You have to understand, for me personally, The Snowman was one of the very first Doctor Who stories I ever saw, so it's going to have a special place in my heart. But also, I just love the way it looked. The ambiance, the setup, the beauty of that episode, it looked very good. And it's my favorite version of Clara in that one as well. And with the way the Doctor and Clara first meet, there is such an intense chemistry there, and I really do like it. And when you have the TARDIS on the clouds, oh my gosh, the TARDIS was on the clouds, and you've got the staircase that goes up into the clouds. I mean, that is like Mary Poppins stuff right there. How can I not love that? And then when he eventually takes Clara up when they're being chased by the frozen nanny or, dead governess, when that's happening, which you've got also when the 11th Doctor, he opens the doors and shows her his TARDIS, and she runs around the TARDIS. Clara runs around the TARDIS and says, it's like smaller on the outside. He's like, that's a first. That's just so unique to me. I enjoy it. And the first time he shows her his TARDIS, it's a magnificent introduction of a companion to the TARDIS. It just is. I like the whole look of it. And then when he says, I never know why, I just know who. Remember this day, remember it. This is the day everything begins. There's something about that entire interaction there that I just do love. So guys, I get why you don't like it. I get why, but please, it's just me. I just do. There's nothing I can do about it. And I'm okay with that. So now we are at number 2, Here's where it gets polarizing for you guys again. We have, from Series 7, the finale, The Name of the Doctor. Guys, this is so sweet. I know, yes, you probably lost all respect for me when it comes to this one, but The Name of the Doctor, there's just something about this finale that speaks to me. I can't explain what it is. I like the callback and throwback to, the classic Doctors. We see their footage, because when I got through Doctor Who through New Who, so this was the very first time I saw classic Doctors really, and seeing them in their, their element. And even though Clara was in the background, I still got to see them. I got to see all of them pretty much, and that was nice to see it. And that was very nice. And then you also see when you're in the Doctor's, you see the Doctor's timeline and you hear the different voices. The idea of the Time Lord's timeline being this long strands of things like a tear in the fabric of reality and time. That bodies are boring, the Doctor says, and that was just so wonderful to me. And also with the Doctor, where Clara wakes up and she hears the Doctor saying, "Am I getting warm?" And the Doctor came into the house to look after the kids, and they did the whole blind man's buff thing, and they tricked him. He's like, "The little Daleks, what's wrong?" And that was just such an incredible thing for me. Sorry, music is going off in the next door, so it's going to play for a bit, so just ignore that song right there. Yes, but here's the funny thing about it is, when that did in fact actually happen, I was like looking at the Doctor when he was like sitting there and so completely scared and nervous when she said about how it is discovered. He looked sad, and Clara saw him emotional for like one of the first times. That was incredible, and it spoke to me in such a way. I liked it. And then at the end, where he jumps into his timeline after Clara goes into his timeline to save the day, people say, well, Clara was used as a plot device. Guys, she's not the first companion to be used as a plot device. So I'm not holding against Clara, especially since we saw her and how she did save the day before. So at least there's some build up to how she saved the day now. We've seen it before, rather than her just saving the day in a patch quilt, patchwork kind of way, where it's all patched together in the last possible second in a Deus Ex Machina way. I just simply, I've seen companions used in worse ways before, so I don't hold against Clara now for that regard, because at least she is better set up in that regard. But then when the Doctor, after she saves him, he goes into his own timeline and gets her, and then she is so emotional, and then she sees him again, and he says, "Just this once, just for the hell of it, let me save you. You have to trust me, I'm real Clara." And then they jump into each other's arms, and he's like, "Oh, my Clara," which I found to be a term of endearment. I know one person who said that was sexist towards women because he implies ownership. I don't know what you're talking about, especially since the Doctor has referred to companions of his before as my this, my Sarah Jane Smith, my Tegan. He's done this before. This is not sexist. It's affectionate. It's in admiration. It's in term of endearment. It's a term of endearment to me. But yes, I very much did love that moment. And at the end, where he's carrying Clara away, and then we see William Hurt's Doctor, and he turns and says William Hurt as the Doctor, and 11 says, "But not in the name of the Doctor," goes away. I'm sorry, that just hit me like God knows what. It knocked me about. And so I like it. Sorry, I know you guys hate it. Some people hate it, a lot of people hate it, but I don't. That's just the way I get. I have low standards. That's why when I hate something, I really hate it. And now comes for our number one of the great intelligence stories. If you doubted this, or you said, how could she have forgotten this? Guys, look at me. Did I really forget it, though? How could I possibly forget one of the greatest, I think the greatest great intelligence story, but not only that, one of my favorite Second Doctor stories, The Web of Fear. This story is perfect. Like, really perfect. Like, really, really perfect. I love the Doctor in it. I love Jamie. Victoria was overall perfectly fine. I liked all the supporting characters. Travers. I loved, oh dear Lord Jesus. Unit is here. And we've got the Brigadier. Guys, we have the Brigadier, who I developed, and I admit, a very intense love for very quickly. Well, what can you do? That's just me. But yes, oh, the idea and all of the, just the web and all of that just growing in the London Underground. Oh, just pure spectacular. What was painful for this story for me was, I actually, when I was doing my fan fiction writing, I said this before in my top 15 Second Doctor stories list, is how I actually came up with the idea of having the Great Intelligence in the London Underground. I thought it'd be a very good idea. I was like, oh, I'll write this story. This would be a good one. And then I bought this DVD and I watched it and I was like, are you freaking kidding me? Of course somebody would come up with the idea of using the London Underground. But darn it, they used the Great Intelligence for the London Underground. Oh, god darn. This is even more painful than when I came up with an idea of writing a play about Rosencrantz and Guildenstern from Hamlet, and then I found out that Tom Stoppard had wrote a play called Rosencrantz and Guildenstern Are Dead. I don't really have good luck with these sort of things. I really don't. So, yes, I admit I think The Web of Fear is one of the best stories ever. And this is my top 5 classic villains list of the Great Intelligence. So guys, what is your favorite Great Intelligence stories? I understand if you think the rest, besides the one you like, are crappy. That's just the way this cookie crumbles. And also, I admit I was going to do a video on the top 5 Ice Warrior stories, but I gotta ask you guys first, in case I'm wrong, does the Monster of Peladon count as an Ice Warrior story? Because I think it does, because they are the main problem in that story, but I don't know if that really counts, so I gotta ask you guys, because if it doesn't count, I can't do a list. I want to do a list. I want to. So guys, thank you so much for watching. Hope to see you again very soon. Love you guys.